Hey, Warren Eckstein. I want to talk about a subject a lot of people don't talk about. I want to spend a little time doing it. Over the years, I've trained over 40,000 different animals. And over the years, I've had several animals that I had to untrain. What does that mean? What does untrain an animal, untrain a dog mean? Very often, people that have a dog or a cat, but mostly dogs, want their dogs to be perfect. They train, they train, they train, and they train. And the dog becomes so dependent on being asked what to do that he's not thinking for themselves. Especially important with dogs that are working with the military and police. They have to think as well as respond. But here's part of the problem. People often train their dog way too much. I believe it's important that every dog should understand how to sit and stay and come and lie down and behave and not jump and all that. That's really important. But how much freedom are you giving your dog? How much time are you letting your dog be a dog? I remember years ago, I was working with a dog. It was a beautiful dog. It was an Australian Shepherd. And the people the dog lived with were training this dog constantly because the dog was bright. He loved to learn things, and that's great. However, every time the dog did anything on his own, chase a squirrel, go after that, they would stop the dog immediately and go back to his training. They want the dog to be like a little robot. And I told them maybe you should get batteries instead of a dog. So the bottom line is this. How much training is just right? It depends on the dog and it depends on your needs. For the average person, basic training is important because it gives you a positive way to communicate with your dog. Then rather than say no, 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 no all the time, you can ask your dog what to do, and 85 to 90% of the time they'll respond. So he'll sit, stay down, and calm. But the concept of overtraining is just as bad as undertraining. Too little training and the dog is going to forget what he learned. Too much training, the dog may become bored or overwhelmed by the training and react in way too, a lot of different ways they can react. They can react by not listening or just becoming like a little bit of a robot. Not all training should be formal, and this is where a lot of people make the error. I get this all the time on the radio show. Warren, my dog is amazing. He'll sit in the house, he'll stay in the house, he'll respond. I take him in the backyard, he responds, but I take him for a walk and he turns into Cujo. What's the problem? The problem is this. So many people focus on training their dog the same way in the same locations every single time. That's not good. You're going to be in different locations. You're going to be around other dogs. You're going to be around squirrels. You're going to be around people. So the bottom line is once you started teaching your dogs the basics at a pace he's comfortable with, then you need to take those basic training and incorporate it into everyday experiences. When you take him for a walk, spend a minute or two on training. If you take him to the park, spend a minute or two on training. Get up to take him outside to do his business in the middle of the night, spend 5 minutes on training. Remember, training should always be a positive experience for a dog. If training is done with any negative ways or yelling or screaming, the dog may respond, but he's not responding because he wants to respond. He's responding because he believes he has no choice. So again, and this is really important to remember, I've trained dogs for drug detection, bomb detection, military. That's a whole different ballgame. But the average pet guardian like you and like me right now, my dogs aren't perfect. I like every once in a while to look at my dogs and say, sit and have them look up at me and say, hey, Warren, you talking to me? Give your dogs the opportunity to be a dog. Training is critical. Make the training fun. If it's a young dog, short periods of time throughout the day. The average dog, once they're a year old, maybe 20 minutes at a time can be done, or maybe even a little bit more. And as they get older, don't forget, you can always teach your older dog something new as well. Keeping that brain mentally stimulated can keep them active also. So remember, too much training is just as bad as no training at all. So find that perfect balance. There is that perfect balance of what your expectations are and what your dog's expectations are. And once you both kind of put that together, there'll be a whole different relationship. So have fun. Make sure your dog enjoys training. Think about this. When you were going to school, if you had a teacher that was boring, if you had a teacher that was kind of drilling to do this, do this, do this, do this, I had teachers like that. And I graduated at the bottom of my high school class because I was bored. But every once in a while, I would come across a teacher. I remember I had one English teacher that was amazing. He was, we're learning about Shakespeare. Warren and Shakespeare, come on. Nothing could be more opposite. However, he made it interesting. He read to us with an old English accent, and he kind of explained to us what was going on. So it's the same thing with training your dog. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Your dog will enjoy it. You'll enjoy it a lot more, and the relationship you have will be the best relationship you can possibly have. I'm Warren Eckstein. Go ahead, train. Give him a hug and a kiss, too.